Welcome back to Monday Reset and continuing on our conversations about friends and who you can talk to and having a soundboard and the importance of having friends that can impart wisdom into your life or just be a positive soundboard, somebody that you can be accountable to. Continue on that topic. Today, I want to touch on something very, very opportune, as a friend just reminded me. Have you had, I mean, probably no, that's probably only me. Have you ever had one of these days where things are just not going right? People you're dealing with, they are rude to you. They come out of nowhere, out of left field with some rude remarks. And it, you're having issues in your family with, conflicts. And you feel that the universe is testing your balance, is testing your equilibrium mentally and emotionally, and is testing your resolve on the things you said you want to work on it, you want to grow on it. Well, this is a week just like that. As a matter of fact, uh, uh, um, life has a way of working exactly like that. You have the seasons. What happens every year after summer comes autumn and then winter. The good news is that after winter comes the spring, right? The old saying, this too shall pass. So everything has a beginning and an end. But boy, isn't it crazy when everything seems to be like on your case? It's not that things are terrible. It's not that things are. It's not a catastrophic situation. It's not a horrible thing. I mean, it's far easier than when we all went into lockdown last year, right? But it's those little things that emotionally cripple into your mind. They creep in, creeping, that's the word, right? They creep in into your mind, into your thinking, into your thoughts, and they keep nagging in the back of your head. It's that conversation you had with somebody that if you had a second chance or if you had the courage to, you would go back and tell them exactly what you're thinking about what they said or exactly about how you would deal with the way they're behaving with you. And yet you don't do it because you don't want to destroy the relationship or you don't want to destroy the opportunity as a client or as a person you respect or as a person that you just don't want to break the relationship. And it can be really challenging. Well, believe it or not, life coach and all, teacher teacher of the word of the scripture and all, I am going through a week just like that. And perhaps to you, it's a reminder that we are all human, that nobody's perfect. But like the saying I had in my country back in Brazil, pepper is always refreshing when it's in somebody else's eyes. Does that make any sense in English? I'm sure it worked better, the translation in my own head, than it works in reality. But you get what I'm saying. It's like, it's not so complicated when you're just listening to somebody else and giving them a good advice. Or it's not so complicated when it's somebody else's story, but when it's your own story, when you have your spouse going through whatever, some weird emotional moment, and you have your kids being very needy, you have co-workers or a boss or people you work with being very demanding, and it seems like everything happens at the same time, and you look at the sky, you put your hands up, and it's like, why do I have to be perfect and everybody else can have their moments? When I have the answer, I'll share with you. No, I'm kidding. I want to I want to help you address that. This is a real thing. This is the reality. It's something I just went through this week. And I want to share the three things I'm learning in the process. One is that despite our initial emotional response. No, the reality is not that everybody else can do whatever they want and why do I have to be perfect? No, that's not the case. The case is this is an opportunity for me to grow, and I'm being confronted on my resolve. It's like going to the gym and saying to your trainer, hey, I want to work on my chest. I want to get a nice definition, I want to get a nice back, and I want to look in the mirror and feel proud. And the trainer is going to go, cool, let's start the pain process. The thing is that when you're thinking of the nice image in the mirror, and we're not talking about vanity, right? You guys know what I'm talking about. I'm talking about look in the mirror and say, cool, I look the part for my own sake and for your spouse, for your family, so your kids don't think you're becoming an old man. All part of that, right? But the truth is, when we look at the result we want to achieve, or when we look at where we want to go in life, we don't think of the obstacles. We don't think of the things we have to overcome. We don't think of the challenges we're going to have to face. We think of the result. And that is extremely important. There is a huge important aspect of achieving a desired goal, which is seeing the bigger picture, what you're going for. But something that we often neglect is that we forget about setting also smaller milestones towards that journey, along that journey. Because the truth is, there are the little obstacles we're going to have to overcome until we make it to the big goal. And this week has been, for me, one of those little milestones. Little, yeah, pun intended. Has been one of those milestones. Because the truth is exactly that. Once we make a decision to grow, once we make a decision to tackle a certain area in our life, in our thinking, in our beliefs, in our emotional strength, in our emotional maturity, we will be tested. And it's not that the devil is against you. It's not that God is testing you. It has nothing to do with that. I think one very important thing that we need to clarify here is that God is not out to test every single thing you say. And the devil is not out to trick you in everything you do. A lot of what we go through is of our own making. And a lot of what we go through is only simply life. Because we are people dealing with people. Emotions. And emotion is a key thing, which leads us to the second point. Once we make a decision to grow in a certain area, once we confront a certain aspect of our life, a certain belief, a certain thinking, a certain way of approaching situations or learning to respond versus to react to situations, once we make a resolve, a decision to deal with those things, our emotions now have to be trained. We need to train ourselves to not to respond emotionally, impulsively in a situation, yet not to become cold. How do I correctly approach the situation where I am myself with my identity, the way I deal with things, but yet on a more mature level, on a wiser level, with more understanding, right? So, milestones, the little challenges along the way, emotional maturity. And third point, understanding. The scripture says that above all things, seek understanding. Because we need to understand. We are emotional, heart, thinking, mind. Understanding is where your mind and your heart find convergence, find congruence. They find a middle ground where they can work together. Who here remember hearing from your father, your mother, or figure of authority that said to you when you were younger, you have to do because I said so. And you were like, but I don't understand. Why do I have to do that? I remember my father once quoting to me, when I was in the military, they teach us, first you obey, then you ask why. And I caught myself saying that to my son the other day. And I was like, oh Lord, no, I'm my father. The truth is, we are human beings. We need to understand why we're doing what we're doing. But let me help you redirect that sentence. Rather than asking, why is this happening to me? Why do I have to do this or that? Remember, that's that initial question. Why do I have to be perfect while everybody else can have their moods and moments? See, why is not always the right question when you approach a situation. Why is very important when is what is your inner motivation. But when you're approaching situations, when you're approaching challenges and circumstances and things that are happening along the journey you're going in, why is not the right question. The right question is what for? To what end? To what objective? Because life happens for you, not to you. If I set on a journey to achieve a goal, if you set on a journey to achieve a certain goal, the obstacles, the challenges, the difficulties, they are part of that process to get you not only to the goal, but to help you become the person you need to be when you achieve that goal. Remember, the purpose of setting a goal, the purpose of directing a life, the purpose of defining a purpose for you, it's not just that you can reach that particular point, place, thing, or have something. It's to help you become that person that will have that thing, that will achieve that goal, that will get you that place. That is the great confusion that we have today in the social media world, where everything seems so instant. You can buy a Nike cap, a Gucci cap, a Armani suit. You can buy the look. But having the look doesn't make you the person. You can get a 12-year-old girl that dresses up and looks like a 22-year-old girl. And physically, she looks like a 22-year-old woman. But she's just a child dressed up. The same way, do you want to be the man that has achieved the maturity, the emotional intelligence, the goals you set for your own life, friendships, relationships, maturity level, spiritual level, everything, career-wise, your self-love, your relationship with God? Do you want to be that person, or you just want to look like that person? Because there's a big difference in how you feel inside when the lights are off, when everybody's gone home, and you have to sleep with your head in the pillow. Can you sleep in peace? So the purpose of the goal, remember, it's not to get you there. The purpose of the goal is to help you become the person that achieves that goal. So I close on this. As I was going through this challenging week, I reminded myself of how would Paulo Mendes, your life coach, how would I reframe my mind to approach this situation? And how would Paulo, 5 years from now, hopefully a bit more mature, hopefully a bit more together in life with what I want to achieve and accomplish, how would that Paulo, 5 years from now, respond to this situation? A wiser, more mature Paulo. And then I realized, okay, I have to act and think and respond the way that 5-year-old me would, so I can earn the place, the right to come there. I leave you today with this. Set a goal for yourself. 5 years from now, where would you like to be? Who would you like to be? Not an interview kind of question. A question for real for yourself. 5 years from now, 10 years from now, where would you want to be? How would you want to be? Who do you want to be? And then ask yourself today, how does that person think? Dealing with what I do today, in the circumstances, in the challenges, in the opportunities, how would a 10-year-old me approach that situation, respond to that challenge, deal with these opportunities? I wish you growth. I wish you wisdom, maturity, and joy. Cheers.